Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Peace and blessings. It's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. And with this one, I just want to shoot straight from the hip with it. Nothing rehearsed, just straight from the hip. You know, Here we're at work. Um, we already know with Donald Trump, he had a few pardons that went down the other day, um, including NBA YoungBoy and Larry Hoover. But really, with Larry Hoover, he basically didn't pardon him, but he commuted his sentences, meaning that time considered served. So essentially, he is pardoned from federal lockup, but he still has state charges of 200 years altogether. If he didn't have those state charges, time considered served, he'll be able to go home. Huge. You know what I'm saying? So Trump actually did a chess move and he pretty much freed from federal custody a YN and an OG in the same day, And I see a lot of people that have mixed feelings about it. I think it's incredible, especially with Larry Hoover. Shout out to NBA YoungBoy. Stay out of trouble, young man. You got a second chance. But with Larry Hoover, it's such a dynamic because he can actually help mobilize peace and order, especially specifically in Chicago, if they, put some programs centered around him in the city. It might not get everybody, but a lot of the youth can be positively affected by his story. I mean, say what you say, that man's name carry weight. So that was huge for Trump to do. And now it's up to the governor of Illinois to clear him from his state charges, right? So as the title says, will J.B. Pritzer pardon Larry Hoover? Man, and I have to say, man, J.B. Pritzer, by the way, is the governor of Illinois. From my perspective, it shouldn't even be a question. For one, that man has served 52 years, 30 of which were in solitary confinement, you know. And if you look at the nature of his cases, the state case was when he got locked up at 23 years old in Chicago for a murder that he did not personally commit, but they say he gave the order, right? But check this out. Everybody else, even including the person that actually committed it, the unaliving, has been released from custody and is, they not locked up anymore. So how is the man that didn't even commit it, that act, still have 200 years left, right? Because his name is Larry Hoover. And then, that was in 1973 when he caught that case. And while incarcerated in Illinois, he got hit with a RICO, running a criminal enterprise, back in 1997, I believe, which landed him in federal prison in solitary confinement with 6 life sentences. Now, they were saying that he was, running a criminal organization from prison that included running a criminal enterprise, money laundering, um, extortion, all type of stuff, murder from prison. They said that he was running that. So they gave him 6 consecutive life sentences. And within that, I allege that that was really about what he was doing politically. See, Larry Hoover, from my vantage point, is a political prisoner in the respect that he was trying to empower through the 21st Century Vote Act. That was his organization, 21st Century Vote, where he was trying to galvanize Black people in the community to vote for policy instead of identity politics. He was trying to get Black people in the community to go vote. Now, I allege that was the main reason why, historically, under Democratic leadership, if you could galvanize tens of thousands of people, Black people, to vote in a different direction, other than what the policies that they want to implement, you become a threat. You become a target. Because there's no way from a prison cell this man could be responsible for what tens of thousands of people all across the city and the country, how could he be responsible for that? So what they did was made that man a political pawn all these years. Democratic political pawn. If you look it up, I bet you the judge that sentenced him in both state, federal, were Democrat. Now, what we have today is how many different presidents came and went since 1973. But Donald Trump is the only one that gave this man any type of leniency, any type of relief. I mean, 52 years. So now all of the weight is on J.B. Pritzer's shoulders to either keep Larry Hoover incarcerated or release him. And I've been seeing a lot of Black people still want to call this man racist, don't want to give him his props, whether you like him or not. I don't care if it was political. All of this is political. The fact that he got 6 consecutive life sentences is political. I seen a post earlier today saying that I'm not going to get no praises for Donald Trump for, even though, I view Larry Hoover as a man that I would call chief, even though he freed Chief. I'm not going to give him no props for that because it's political. Who cares? He gave essentially what no other politician or president did. And to say that he did that politically, keep in mind, Kanye West was trying to get Trump to pardon Larry Hoover in his first presidency 8 years ago. You got people that been pitching this to all the presidents to pardon this man. Now, Trump didn't do it in his first presidency, I believe, because he probably didn't really, get a chance to get to it. He had so many other things going on. But now, in this current administration, he set up a whole department for that. He has Alice Marie Johnson, a black woman that is in charge of the pardon czar, the pardoning people that have been overcharged, over sentenced, or just flat out falsely accused. He created that because he was targeted and used as a political pawn. Trump was targeted. They want to call a man a convicted felon with falsified charges against him, so he knows how to feel. Alice Marie Johnson was unlawfully sentenced. That's why he pardoned her. So who better to be over that department than somebody that's been through it before? She knows how to feel, and Trump knows how it feels to have the judicial system weaponized against them. And now we have a situation where Donald Trump has commuted Larry Hoover on a federal level. And people running around here, see, they got all this smoke for Donald Trump. Now, this man that I seen the post is in Chicago talking about he living up under Trump's economy. He's struggling under Trump's economy. First of all, in America, Trump only been back in office for 4 or 5 months. So you're not up under Trump's economy. Not quite yet. You still up under Democratic Joe Biden's failing economy. He only been in office 5 months. So you ain't under Trump's economy. Second of all, really, you up under Brandon Johnson's failing economy. Because Brandon Johnson is the one that got the city in a $1 billion deficit. But anytime you hold Brandon Johnson feet to the fire, man, why you doing that? Why you staying on him? Because your local government is the one that got you in a $1 billion deficit because they have prioritized illegal immigrants over the American citizens. You don't think all this money that we got to take to feed, clothe, house, and shit, or hundreds of millions of dollars, you don't think that affects your economy here in Chicago? But you want to blame Donald Trump when we have declared to be a sanctuary city? You got other cities in America that are not sanctuary cities that are not going through a $1 billion deficit. So whenever you want to hold Brandon Johnson feet to the fire, they want to say, oh, it ain't just him, it ain't just him, but you want to say it's all Trump. Nah. See, black people with this whole Trump derangement syndrome has gotten to a point where the man basically freed Larry Hoover. And they still don't want to give him his props. Still don't want to give him his props, man. I'm convinced that it don't matter what Trump do. They still gonna find a way to call him a racist. They still gonna find a way to blame him for their own economical problems. They gonna find a way to say that he is responsible for whatever is going wrong in the world. Federal funding for Chicago has been cut off because Governor Pritzer and Mayor Brandon Johnson have declared to be a sanctuary city. Therefore, you're going against federal law. Therefore, federal funding is cut off. Hence, we in a $1 billion deficit. You want to talk about white supremacy? Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Tory Lanez was falsely sent to prison. A black woman put him there. But I just seen a white Republican congresswoman is fighting to get him out of jail. Anna the pole or something lady is trying to get him out of jail when a black woman put him there, falsely put him in prison. Man just got stabbed up in prison, almost lost his life, got stabbed 14 times. At some point, we our own worst enemy. Here it is, a white man just pardoned Larry Hoover, bro. When did we think we would see a president do something like that? You had a black president, Obama. I'm pretty sure they tried to get a pardon under Obama. Obama wasn't trying to do nothing. I've seen Donald Trump, when they were talking about illegal immigrants and black people gonna get deported, I seen Donald Trump go on national television and say, no, black people do not fall in that category because of the 14th Amendment. He threw black people a bone with the 14th Amendment and basically told you under that 14th Amendment, you are eligible for reparations. When Ice Cube came up with the $500 billion plan for black Americans, which was really a plan for reparations for black Americans, he went to the Democrats first. He went to Joe Biden. Joe Biden said, man, I'm going to get back with you. When Trump was in office, he went to Trump. Trump sat down with Ice Cube and said, I like this. But you know what black people did? They criticized Ice Cube. They called him a coon. Mr. NWA, Mr. F the police. A coon? At some point, we are on enemy. We are worst on enemy. Anybody that man first presidency, they went to go sit. Steve Harvey even went to go sit. Well, they call him a coon. When you need to be trying to get with these people that are willing to give you something tangible, because the Democratic Party, because to me, it ain't about no black and no white. At this point, if you still talk about some black and some white, man, I'm American. Yeah, I'm a black man, but I'm an American. What's best for America? Do you not know why Donald Trump, a Republican, why that lady Anna, a Republican, are trying to save and pardon black people? You got Democrats running to El Salvador to save illegal immigrants. They prioritizing illegal immigrants over the black community. Mayor Brandon Johnson has spent hundreds of millions of dollars in Chicago on illegal immigrants, but ain't gave shit to the black community. But don't talk about him because what? He a black Democrat. You see the hypocrisy? Do you not know the Democratic Party are using these illegal immigrants as your replacement for votes? Hence, what I said, Larry Hoover, 21st century vote, why he was really hit with those 6 consecutive life sentences that Donald Trump just freed him on. And black people, wake up call, your vote don't even matter no more. In this last election, we outnumbered. And they trying to bring more of these people over here. Black people that voted, 80 to 85% voted for Kamala Harris, and she still lost by a landslide. So your vote don't really matter. You know who voted for Donald Trump while y'all talking about he hating on illegal immigrants? The main reason why Donald Trump got in office is because Mexican Americans voted for Donald Trump 70 to 75%. The same people you say he being racist towards with illegal immigration. You know why? because those Mexican Americans don't agree with illegal immigration. You know what they had to get? They went through the right proper process to come in this country. You know what it takes to become an American citizen, and they went through the right proper process, and they see somebody just come over here the wrong way. No, they not with that. They not with that. But black people will sit up here to our own detriment and criticize Donald Trump when we ain't the target. Ain't no particular race the target. Illegal immigration is the target. We in a how many trillions of debt in a deficit in this country? You don't think that's largely due to illegal immigration? People that's not contributing to this society, but are soaking up all the resources? Now, J.B. Pritzer is a Democrat, but we got to beg him to pardon Larry Hoover, a man that has been pardoned on the federal level because politically he's in opposition with Donald Trump. You know what great good Larry Hoover could do for the community just because of his name alone? It will get these young people attention. Okay, let me hear what he got to say. And when he tell his story, like, man, if you live the lifestyle that I lived, this is where you'll end up. And to see this man in real time and to be able to converse with him, you don't think that Chicago and the political people that we have in this city galvanize around him and put some things together for the youth that's out of control in this city. What is there to think about, Governor Pritzer? What is there to think about? As soon as Trump dropped that commute on them life sentences, it shouldn't have been nothing to think about. What is there to think about? That man is 75 years old. What threat does he pose to the community? Not a damn thing, man. Shouldn't have to beg the governor for something like that. But see, that's not in their agenda. Their agenda, the Democratic agenda, is to keep the city in chaos. Why you think they ain't doing nothing when these YNs downtown tearing up the downtown area? Because you got people like George Soros that fund the Democratic Party to perpetuate that agenda. They want chaos. Don't you get it? By now, like I said, you got Democratic politicians trying to break in ICE facilities to save illegal immigrants that have committed heinous crimes. We make a joke about it on here, it's commentary, but when you really think about it, you got Democratic politicians flying over to El Salvador, trying to get them out of prison. You got Democratic politicians that won't even mention people that have been unalived by illegal immigrants. A black woman, Larissa Thompson, was just robbed and murdered by 6 illegal immigrants. They tried to rob her and they ended up murdering her. She driving her car down the street. They range from 13 years old to 21 years old. Wasn't even supposed to be in this city. Wasn't even supposed to be in this country. In Lancaster, South Carolina. But you don't see Black Lives, that's a black woman. You don't see Black Lives Matter. You don't see Al Sharpton. You don't see Roland Martin talking about this case. Why not? You don't see liberal media. You don't see CNN, MSNBC. She was a mother. Eva Moore was unalived, hit by a speedboat while she chilling in the water, 18 years old. Looked like a black young lady. You don't see Roland Martin. You don't see none of them. They ran, those illegal immigrants fled the scene. You don't see, I guess Black lives don't matter unless it involves a white police officer. Black lives don't matter unless it involves another white citizen. But when someone heinously eliminates somebody's life that is not white, they crickets, even the media. But who runs those liberal media stations? George Soros and all them other people. It don't fit their agenda. You don't see it. If that had been a white man that unalived Larissa Thompson, tried to rob her and then unalived her, that would be all over the place. Had it been a white man that hit Ava Moore with a speedboat and fled the scene, it would be all over the media. Black Lives Matter, it'd be all type of protests going on. But they haven't said nothing. The only news station I seen was conservative media, Fox News. So, Governor J.B. Pritzer, will you pardon Larry Hoover? Why wouldn't you? Why do we have to sit here? You ain't even made an official statement yet. You's probably somewhere trying to figure out how you gonna get out this jam because politically it don't fit the Democratic agenda. You see what I'm saying? And black people hate Donald Trump so much with this white supremacy. I don't see it. I see illegal immigrants having supremacy. They come over here, commit heinous crimes, and get away with it. They come over here, soak up all the resources. They get the special treatment. That's the only group of people I see getting special treatment. And they not even from here. I wouldn't care what color they were. They fit the Democratic agenda because they want to replace you and I for a vote. So they can maintain their power politically while people talking about politics. Hold that black Mayor Brandon Johnson feet to the fire. Man, this dude on Memorial Day that just passed sat up here on Memorial Day and came up with something called Africa Day. Made a whole pre-recorded video talking about, let's talk about African communities in Chicago and woo woo. Ain't no African communities in Chicago, it's Black American. But see, that's a slap in the face to all the Black Americans, white Americans, Mexican Americans, and so forth and so on that risk their life to protect America. You want to talk about that? Take your ass to Africa then, bro. Go on over there. Memorial Day is an American holiday that was created, a lot of people don't know this, by Black Americans. Foundational Black Americans created Memorial Day to honor the people that served in the military that died protecting this nation. And what a slap in the face for you to honor Africa Day. Are you serious? Your ancestors came up with Memorial Day. That fought and died for the right for you to have the freedom of speech to even say this nonsense that you saying. Because in Africa, Europe, Whatever other continent, you wouldn't have a right to go against your government like that. They don't have freedom of speech laws like that over there. Backwards. What's up is down, what's down is up. Listen, I've been talking for 30 minutes that fast, man. I ain't even realize it. But at the end of the day, man, we got to stop with all this white. I'm not saying white supremacy don't exist on a systemic level, but everything ain't that, man. Sometimes you got to know when to fight your battles, when to hold them and when to fold them. And it shouldn't even be a question at this point about will J.P. Pritzer pardon Larry Hoover. You feel me? But hey, what say you? It's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless. I just had to go on a quick rant right there. But we love y'all. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Peace and blessings.